Welcome back. Moscow says its troops have killed 70 people while driving back forces it accuses of mounting a raid into Russian territory from Ukraine. Now, Kyiv has denied that Ukrainian personnel have been involved in fighting in Russia's southern border region of Belgorod, instead claiming that it's pro-opposition Russian groups. Well, let's try and get to the bottom of what's been going on. The defence analyst, Professor Michael Clark, is here. So talk us through, Michael, what we think has been happening in the Belgorod region.
Yeah, I mean, two groups, all Russians who at the moment are fighting for Ukraine, and one of them calls themselves the Russia Freedom Legion, and the other one calls itself the Russia Volunteer Corps. They fight with the Ukrainians, and they seem to get some equipment from the Ukrainians because they fight for the International Legion in Ukraine. And they seem to cross the border between Kharkiv and Belgorod, and they cross the border in these little villages at Goropodol and Grevoron, which is where there's a border post there in Kozinka. And they have been there for 2 days. And the Russians have tried to do something about it. They've said it's a terrorist attack. 48 hours later, it's still been going on. But the Russian Ministry of Defence now said they've finished it. They've killed 70-odd people, some of them on the Ukrainian side of the border, and it's all over. But that's just the Russian Ministry of Defence saying that. Yeah,
how likely is that? They say it's over. They've pushed them back. As you said, 70 fatalities.
Well, it probably is all over because it was an incursion. It's the third time this sort of thing has happened, but it's the biggest. But when you look at what they had, it looks like, I mean, 70 people is credible. A handful of vehicles, at least one tank that we know of, and they may have captured a couple of armoured vehicles. But the Russians were I think, so shocked by it in these little well-kept villages over there that, there doesn't seem to be much fighting. There's a series of plumes of smoke have risen. There's some helicopters have been flying over, but it's not as if these characters have been going around shooting up the villages or engaging with a lot of Russian soldiers. So I suspect that the thing is, if it's not all over now, it soon will be, and it's an embarrassment to the Russians. The question is, are the Ukrainians complicit in this? Did they know about it? And that's a real problem for them if they did.
And there has been footage that's emerged that seems to be traffic. A lot of traffic leaving Belgorod. What can we read into this?
Well, that's one of the things, that there's a certain amount of panic in Belgorod itself, which is quite a long way away if you look at the map from these villages. But immediately it shows that the Russian civilians are quite jumpy, and the Russians can't get over this. They can say whatever else they like about what's going on, but the fact that a lot of people are panicking in Belgorod, or at least jamming the routes to get out, is something that will appear. But Russian media today have played all this down. They've hardly reported it. What I think is happening, the Russians are waiting till this is all over, and then they'll shape the story, because this actually will play to their narrative. They say, look, the Ukrainians are attacking us. NATO are behind Ukraine. Ukraine are now over on our side of the border, attacking us, terrorists. That's exactly what the Kremlin wants to say. And, you know, it seems that this will help them say it.
OK, Michael, thank you. Professor Michael Clark there with the latest on that event in Russia. Thank you.